every administration ignores my public service of advice, which is line your nominees up for every office as soon as possible during the transition, give them to the Senate the first day, and work with the majority leader to demand quick confirmations. And they all do the same thing. They sit around hearing bitching and complaining from the cabinet secretaries. There's nobody here. I'm governing the department by myself. I can barely get my deputy confirmed, let alone all the assistants. And then we get to the August recess at the end of the first year, and they're like, this is a disaster. Let's get them confirmed. So now we have Thune trying to work with the White House to get people confirmed and threatening to do away with the recess until they get moving. And some Republicans joining Democrats and saying, no, we want to go home to pretend to be with our constituents who, in fact, just go on vacation. So, Dan, is Thune going to play hardball on behalf of the administration, or is he going to cave and let everybody go home and keep the government not staffed?
I think he may try to split the difference. I think they may stay for like a week, but Sean and I have talked about this offline. I do think it's utterly ridiculous that Congress still adjourns for 6 or 7 weeks in the summer. You know, that comes from first when there was no air conditioning in DC and it was hot in those buildings in the summer. The second is members used to all live in Washington, D.C., and this was the time when they went home. They truly packed the family up, packed the station wagon up. And for all those members who lived west of the Mississippi, they went home and toured their state fairs, etc. That's just ridiculous. None of them live here, or a few of them live here anymore. Most of them go home almost every weekend. At some point, they need to end this. I don't blame Trump.
Sean?
Well, there's a couple things. I would add a caveat to your sort of historical way things get done. If you're going to make trade a priority and trade deals and tariffs, you got 3 deputy U.S. trade representatives. You got a few, 4 undersecretaries of commerce. Prioritize, like, you get a say in the calendar and the nomination process. And you know, Thune's taking his cues from them. Who do you want next? Give me the next 10. They should be prioritizing the key slots that are in sync with the president's agenda. And so the problem is that you have a bandwidth issue for one of the president's biggest agenda items at USTR, at Commerce in particular, Treasury a little bit better. The problem is, so that's a strategic issue, number one, as well. Number two, if I were Thune, and this is again where I'm with Dan a little, split the baby here, stay a little bit longer, but then I would dare Chuck Schumer and line up 20, 30, 40 nominees, put them in block, as they call it, and dare him to say no and say, we're staying here until you do this. But they should be playing a little bit more hardball with the nominees. So it's a combination and a recipe of staying longer, willing to play hardball, but rolling over and saying, you know, for the assistant undersecretary of whatever, the idea that this, like, they don't actually attend the hearings. They don't get, it's staff work that mostly deals with this. They could easily be doing these things in block, and they're choosing not to. So I think that there's a little bit more hardball that Thune should be playing and that the White House should be exerting on him.
But part of the reason the appropriations process has also collapsed is they get through the end of June kind of exhausted from all the fights in the spring, and then they come back in September with like 10 working days. I mean, so like, stay, do the appropriations. Like, it is ridiculous. Congress just adjourns for half the summer.
Yeah. Want more great clips like that? I've got an idea. Hit the subscribe button, be part of the Two-Way community, never miss a clip. And you can always watch our full episodes, join them live, go to twoway.tv.